What is up, guys? So before I go outside, I wanted to show you guys something exciting because last night we got our freeze dryer in. My husband and son was able to bring it inside. They actually took it out of the box already when I was in here because it was hard to get into the house with the big box it came in. But I'm gonna turn you guys around and show you what it's looking like. We still have to figure out a place where we want to put it, but I am so excited. I've waited for this moment. As soon as I knew we wanted a Homestead, I definitely knew I wanted a freeze dryer because I actually really love freeze dried fruit, especially strawberries from Trader Joe's. But if you know anything about freeze dried fruit from Trader Joe's, they're like $4 for a pack, and it's only like 1 ounce, and you just eat them so fast they like melt in your mouth. So I'm so excited to have a freeze dryer of my own and to be able to make all the freeze dried food that I want. So right now we just have it sitting in my dining room. The freeze dryer I got was actually from StayFresh, and this is what it's looking like. We still have the pumps and everything inside here, but I'm so excited. Okay, we made a jet for outside because right after I said I was going to come outside and plant seeds, it started pouring down rain. So it is a break in the rain, and so I hurry up and grabbed my basket of seeds. I already have two of my daughters, Anaya and Nehemiah, working on planting some seeds. I have Nehemiah planting some bean seeds and Anaya's planting some collards. We can go over there and see really fast. Hey Nehemiah, what seeds are you planting?
Painted horsey things.
Painted what?
Painted horsey.
That doesn't say horsey.
Pony.
Okay, so these is bush beans. This is a painted pony bush bean. There's 25, so she's planting them in this bed, and this bed had potatoes in it, and we didn't get all the potatoes because there are potatoes actually resprouting in here. Anaya, what are you planting? Yeah, so she has Georgia Southern collards, and what she's using is this seeding square, and she's just putting it down, and then right there in the middle she'll put 2 seeds, and we are going to put 1 seed per square foot. And so this bed is a 3x6, so it could fit 18 collard plants in here. So that's what she's going to work on doing. I can list, I actually think I have that seeding square listed in the description box of where I got it from Amazon. And I've used it to plant out the garden in the square foot gardening method. I don't use it all the time because I'm pretty familiar with plant spacing using the square foot gardening method, but for some things like carrots where it's like 16 per square foot and stuff like that, I do like to keep it in order, and it's easy for kids to use. So now you want to show us which seeds you have?
I have this one.
A nasturtium?
Yeah. It's this one.
And that one? Okay. Cool, let's go find a place to put them. Yeah, so these seeds are, actually this one's empty, but these seeds are pretty big, so you're just going to take them out and then find a spot and poke it inside. And then squish it in and cover it. No, with soil. With the soil. Good job. No, you leave the mulch and then go to another spot. I had planted all these varieties of nasturtiums in the spring, and none of them germinated. I didn't have any nasturtiums growing this season, and so I'm hoping that this season, since it is, or this fall, well, since it's going to fall and it's cool weather, that maybe that something had something to do with it because it was too hot and dry, and then maybe now they'll do better. So that's what we're planting nasturtiums in hope to get some nasturtium seed. These is actually all the nasturtium seeds that I have in my seed collection, and so next season I'll just order some more. Before I get too involved in planting, I do want to give you guys an update on Winona. Thank you all who prayed and just sent messages and comments and suggestions. She's doing much better. She's been standing. So she's been standing right here, right? right? So we still have been cleaning her wounds 3 times a day. You can see it's that leg right there. She's not applying a lot of pressure on it, but she is standing. She was standing yesterday too, so that's nice. She actually ate some of her minerals today, right? Hmm? My stress level has definitely gone down. The first 2 nights was very stressful. Every time the dogs barked, I was awake. And the first night after the incident happened, my dog, my Great Pyrenees specifically, was barking a lot. And so I was up every 30 minutes listening, waiting to hear. But as the days have gotten further apart, his barks have gotten less. Like last night, I think he only barked 2 times, and so I was only up 2 times during the night. We are looking into getting motion censored lights back there. We were already looking into them, and so now it just makes it more in a rush. And we have had our Great Pyrenees on that side with the goats, and then we've had our German Shepherd on our side with the ducks and the boy goats, and that's worked out pretty good. Our other 2 dogs, one, the small one, he barks too much to trust him, so he can't be outside at night. And then our girl dog, she used to be outside with our Great Pyrenees, but she broke her leg one day. We don't know how. We just came out one morning. She was limping, and so she's been in a cast, and so she's still pretty limping, even though she's completely healed. And now she's just used to being in the house, and so every time we put her outside, she just makes her way back over to the back door and to my son's door, and wants to come back inside. So she's been inside with my son. So earlier today I didn't film because I just wanted to get it done, and it was very tedious because I had lots of potatoes. I showed you guys the potatoes that were sprouting inside my house that I pulled out in the spring, and so I wanted to get them planted in my growing zone, which is South Carolina, coastal South Carolina, zone 8B. It said that I was supposed to plant potatoes for a second round by August 22nd. It's already September 2nd, and I just didn't have time, and so it just kept getting put off. But those seed potatoes were sprouting, and so I definitely wanted to get them in the ground. So Taqueshia from our Freedom Song came over this morning to help me, and we got 3 beds filled with potatoes. So we filled this half of this section of this cross with sweet potatoes. This bed had been overrun with weeds, and so we weeded, and I'm thinking the weeds is what killed the strawberry plants. They are still definitely some in here, and I'm hoping they'll come back because some of them have begun to sprout back. The boards that I had here in spring on both sides have started to come back as well. So I'm just leaving them in here and see what happens. But this side was so weedy that we couldn't weed it without disturbing the strawberries that was in here. And so we just added blood meal and bone meal, and then planted the potatoes in this section of the cross. We also planted potatoes in this bed. You can see the bone meal and blood meal that we used. And this bed had snapdragons, and right now it wasn't being occupied, so we planted potatoes here. And then this was the last bed that we planted potatoes in. It's between the bean beds. So these are the beds that I planted the pinto beans in. Speaking of pinto beans, I still have half a bag of this 1 pound pinto beans. And some of them, it's been outside, so it's gotten rained on. So some of them have definitely begun to sprout in the bag. So that's the bag. Actually, it's way more than half a bag. But they've definitely been out here getting wet, and so they're all over here, so we'll use these. So right here, my daughter just pulled out leeks. I've had them planted in here for a long time, so we're gonna bring these inside and get them all cleaned up. And then she's going to replant this bed with, what did I tell you to plant in here, Naya? Carrots. So we're gonna plant some carrots in this bed. So what we're gonna do is take off this. There is a potato growing in here because there was potatoes in here, like small ones, I guess, that I left. And what we're going to do is move this pine, put it in the bed right here, and then we'll plant carrots here. I know a lot of people have trouble planting carrots because it's hard for them to germinate because they need to be constantly moist. But I don't know if it's like OCD or whatever, or just me wanting to check on my plants every 5 seconds. But I've never had a problem growing carrots because anytime I feel like the soil's dry, I'm re-moistening it, and so I've always had luck sprouting carrot seeds. You guys remember I planted some carrot seeds around this tomato in this Forever Garden bed, and this morning I noticed carrot seeds have already begun to germinate around mostly all of the tomatoes. And then these are the radishes, and they have begun to germinate as well. That is our girl dog Natasha. You could see she kind of limps when she walks. Natasha! Natasha! Hi! Happy to report that in this bed that I planted 2 different varieties of beets as well as turnips, I think. I'm not sure if I planted radishes in here as well, but I do see lots of beet sprouts as well as turnips and whatever else I planted in here. So that makes me really happy. I just looked up rutabaga spacing and square foot gardening. It said you could plant 4 rutabagas per square foot. So I'm going to look for a spot where I want to plant these rutabagas. So I've been having my brassicas, like first of all, these 2 broccolis have begun to bolt, and so those are no good. But these are my brassicas, and so I have cabbages there. I think this is a tray of broccoli. I believe this is Brussels sprouts. This is broccoli rab, and then I think this is cauliflower, besides that one right there. But I've been letting them sit out. They're wet because they got rained on. It's been not very sunny. It's been actually overcast. So for the whole week, last week that I've had them sitting outside, it's been super overcast. And so I'm concerned that I haven't hardened them off enough, and that when the sun does actually come back out, that I'll end up scorching them. And so I've been really hesitant to put them in the ground, even though according to the Farmer's Almanac, I can definitely was supposed to put them in the ground, I think the 2nd week of August and the 3rd week of August. And so definitely just waiting to figure that out. Just came over here to see if I wanted to plant the rutabagas in this bed, and I'm pretty sure this is parsnips popping up. I planted parsnips in this bed in spring, and not a lot of them germinated. And then I ended up taking them out. This is not parsnips, that's a weed. I ended up taking them out because I thought it was getting too hot and I wanted to put something else here, and they were still pretty small. And then now, just like the other bed behind me with carrots, I have carrots and I have parsnips popping up. So the seeds definitely survived in the soil all this time, and then when the weather got cool enough for it to germinate, now here it is germinating. Since there's already parsnips here, I'm just going to go ahead and plant the rest of the bed with parsnips, and then we'll have the 2 beds side by side with parsnips. And then we have cucumbers growing up on that side of the trellis. Parsnips are like carrots, so I'm going to plant 16 in a square foot, but since my daughter's used the gardening tool to plant the carrots, I'm just going to eyeball it and just plant them in however the spacing I feel like it's just not too close together because I really want parsnips. I really actually like the taste of parsnips, and was so sad that I didn't really get any. But it was my first time growing parsnips, and I didn't really know anything about them. I thought they were just like carrot seeds, which I realized that they're not. They take much longer to grow, and that it does say sow in late spring for fall or winter harvest, and I planted them definitely much not late spring. So hoping for a better harvest this time. Go ahead and move this pine shavings. I'm gonna put it on this bed. Last night it rained a lot, and a lot of my trees fell over. I'm actually going to go ahead and end this video, but I wanted to show you guys because this is the first year that I've dealt with hornworms all throughout the season. Usually we have a big wave of hornworm damage and then it goes away, no problem. But this year the hornworms just keep coming back, and I'm going to show you this one. It's the longest one I've seen. It's on this tomato plant. There's one right here, and then there's another one right there, and you can see it eating away. Let's see. is just slowly chopping away. It's disgusting. This plant was full of leaves yesterday, and then when Taqueshia was leaving, I looked over and saw that all the leaves were stripped. A couple days ago, we took a hornworm off of my starts because there was a hornworm on these, and so it ate 3, 5, like basically 6 starts. I even began to look, it's because 2 plants that I planted in the ground here are stripped away. So this year has been really bad with the tomato hornworms. I've usually just dealt with them in the spring months, and then after that they're gone, and you know, my tomatoes are doing well. But I mean, we're in September and tomato hornworms is still here. So I didn't even know that that was possible. This is the first year that this has happened. So definitely was like, wow, like that is crazy. And I know for the future, a lot of people did tell me about ways to like planting marigolds and like basil, but I've planted marigolds and basils like I've said before, and there were still hornworms on the tomatoes that had basils and marigolds planted in between each tomato plant. Anyway, I have to leave in 30 minutes, so I'm gonna stop talking to you guys and focus on getting the rest of these seeds in the ground, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.